people who are making him suffer, he could have condemned them, right? He has legions of angels who can come and take over with one word. But he did not do that. Instead of cursing them or doing anything, he just forgave them. And this is not a statement, but is also as a model to each and every one believer, right? First thing that he said is forgive them. And it's a commandment as an example, right? So Jesus did not teach forgiveness, he also lived about it. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 44, he says, "But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." Right? This is after the Mount of Sermon when he was continuing. He said these words. He's asking us to love our enemies. Enmity means like you hate people. In olden days, it's literally that you are ready to kill when they're in front of you. That's the enmity. So even the enemies, God is asking us to forgive them and love them, not just forgive them. And also, he's asking us to love and pray for those who persecute us. On the cross, he did not just said those words, he demonstrated that love, and he also prayed to the God, right? God the Father. So in Acts chapter 7, verse 60, Stephen prays the same prayer and leaves an example. He says, "Lord, do not hold this sin against them." We know Stephen was stoned to death, and even Apostle Paul was right in front of them. But what he was saying, he is saying, do not hold this sin against them. That is the kind of example and discipleship is God is wanting from all of us. In 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 12, the apostles, they lived the same lifestyle as well. So in Paul, he is writing, when we are cursed, we bless. When we are persecuted, we endure it. See, he's saying, when we are even cursed, he's asking us to bless the people. And they are saying that we did that. And also, we are persecuted, we endured it. When they are persecuted, they really endured it. They took care of their, and every time they prayed for those. So the forgiveness is not just an optional thing, but it is also a nature of the true discipleship. The second part, it says, they do not know what they do. If we look at the scriptures, they knew what they were doing, right? It is just simply an ignorance. So the same thing, Jesus recognized not just those people, what they are doing, but indeed he knew that they are doing out of ignorance, but yet he prayed that they don't know what they do, forgive them, Father. Right? In Acts chapter 3, verse 17, Peter says, "I know that you acted in ignorance, as did your leaders." If you look at that chapter, he is also telling how Jesus was suffered on the cross. When he was talking, before he starts his speech, this is what he starts with. "I know that you acted in ignorance, as your leaders did." Right? So really, in those days when Jesus was crucified, the leaders knew what they were doing. In 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 8, it says, "None of the rulers of this age understood it. If they had, they would not have crucified Lord Jesus, Lord of glory." So it clearly says, like sometimes people hurt us, not fully understanding the weight of their actions. This does not really justify sin, but it opens the door for grace so that we can pray for them, forgive them. And the third thing is the depth of what Jesus endured. So consider what Jesus went, right? He's not just dying on that cross. He's not just the agony that he's going through, the mental torture that he went through when the moment he started his ministry, right? So all his own people, right, the whole Israelites, they were against him. And every time he goes to a temple or synagogue, people were against him and humiliating him. When even in the last moment, he was whipped and he was punched He was spit on his face. And his own people cried him to crucify and release Barabbas, right? And even his own disciple betrayed him. And another disciple denied him 3 times. But yet, in the middle of all these things, he said, Father, forgive them. Why do you think it is? It is just because he understood the real battle. The real battle is not with them, not with those disciples, not with the Israelites, or not with the Jews. He knows the real thing is he is fighting against the evil. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 12, it says, our struggle is not against the flesh and blood, but against the spiritual forces of evil. Jesus saw beyond the people to the spiritual reality. And how can we apply this behavior in our lives, right? If Jesus really forgave those who crucified him, and how about us? Are we holding grudge against any of our brothers and sisters? Are we offended just because someone didn't meet our expectations? Or have we allowed small disagreements turning into big forgiveness and later maybe bitterness? So let us examine ourselves today, not only this word, and we are going through each and every word. Let's look ourselves deep in our hearts. If we cannot forgive those who are very close to us, our brothers, sisters, maybe our family members too, right? How can we forgive our enemies? Enemies is far more beyond. As I said in the start, you feel like just killing them. And that is the enmity. And from there, like if you cannot forgive your own brothers and sisters, we cannot forgive them. So Jesus warned us through the parable of unforgiving servant in Matthew chapter 18, 21 to 35. I'm not going to read that, but we also need to remember that God has shown us mercy and His grace using that cross and death on that cross. In the same way, we need to forgive each other and love one another and pray for one another. In conclusion, this really message not just applies to you. First, it applies to me and my family, and then to each and every one of you. So if any one of you have anything in our heart against our brother or sister or any family member, let us examine tonight and forgive them. Not only forgiving them, please pray for them and release them for that and forget what they have done. So because we forgive, we become more like Christ. May God bless this word.